Jalen Lucas isn't necessarily a receiver, but I mean, what he can do as far as finding openings and defenses.
No, Jalen's done a really good job as a receiver. I guess, I know his skill set. He can be used in a lot of different ways in our offense, but he's done a really good job when he had to be at the receiver position. He's done a really good job of showing that he can do everything that it takes to do to play at a high level at that position. So.
Makai Danzy and BJ Gibson are now fully back with you guys after participating in their dual sports. What are you expecting from them now going into camp and them being fully back?
Yeah, I know. First of all, I know they're both excited to be back. So that's number one, just their excitement and their, getting this to be back out there competing with the guys is, something that I'm really excited for them as well too. But just Makai, his speed factor that he brings to the table and certain things that we can do with him in our offense, we all, excited to see that on a daily basis now. BJ got, some super explosiveness. He's also a guy that brings speed to the room, some toughness. So we're excited to have him back too. But the competition right now is set up really good at all of our receiver positions, and I'm looking forward to watching those guys throw themselves all into that.
What's it been like for Makai? Because he's making that transition from running back to wide receiver.
He's handled it well. He's a guy that I think even last season there was some time late in the season that they started to kind of work him as a receiver in different ways. So it hasn't been completely new to him since I've gotten here. But you just know that when he's played running back his entire life, there's a learning curve there with as much we put on him. But we're gonna try to do a really good job of using him to his strengths and putting him in positions to be able to make plays in a lot of different ways.
People might think because he's very fast and athletic that, it's probably not that much of a transition, go catch the ball. But there are people that have been catching balls that have been there for 50 yards since they were 10.
Right.
That's an adjustment, right? Just tracking the ball.
Yeah, definitely. Tracking the ball is probably he's done it at his other position, but there's just a lot of other things that come with the position that's different. Just the route running, the ability to sink your hips and get in and out of breaks and do that smoothly and fluidly. So those will be the things right there that we're working and continue to develop him in more than anything. But catching the football, that's something that comes pretty natural to him right now. But it's all those other little things when it comes to the position of creating separation, probably differently than he normally has, that we'll continue to develop.
And we've heard so many good things about Deuce, not just how well he's playing, but kind of the work ethic that he's. How much can that trickle down to so many young guys watching the more experienced guy work like that?
Yeah, that's what you wanted to, and it has. You see that with him because he, when he got here, it was a lot of him, just probably getting comfortable with us, getting comfortable with his teammates, and he knew how to push himself. He was a self-starter for him. But now, when you see him doing a lot of these extra things, there's other guys that he's bringing along with him. There's younger guys that are staying, doing extra things with him. So, and that's really what you want from a veteran player, when they can go ahead and take younger players under their wings and start bringing them along to show them the way. That he knows that he's not going to be here forever, and he want to make sure that he leave our position group and our offense and our team in really good hands. So he's done a good job of being the leader that we need him to be.
What do you foresee the competition? Like, I think people kind of assume that Deuce and Squirrel are going to play a lot because they came here and they played a lot in their past. But that third receiver, and I know maybe you don't even view it like that, but how do you see that competition playing between the likes of like Elijah and Lewayne and Javon and guys like that?
Yeah, like I said, we got a long list of guys that I can sit here and name them all because they all going to be dead in the middle of this competition going into camp. And those two guys that you mentioned before, they're in a competition every day too. There's going to be a lot that they have to show on a consistent basis. Because, in the spring, like all of them had their times where they were missing and not there. So this is going to be the first time where we got all of our guys that are listed on our roster in practice every day. And, I knock on wood, you want them, but at least they're starting. They're all starting training camp. So I'm excited about that. But the competition between all of them is going to be, very exciting. It's going to be very competitive. And us as coaches, we're excited to see how it all plays out.
How much as a coach, when you're learning guys for the first time, does the competitive spirit matter to you? Like how I mean, is that almost, I know speed matters, ball skills matter, but man, be a competitor.
That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. There's a lot that we're going to go in the meet room and we're going to point them in the right direction on the depth of routes and the tempo of routes, all that good stuff. When it comes down, when the ball is in the air and it's you and another guy, just that competitive spirit where it's my ball. that's the kind of stuff right there that set guys apart. So that's what we'll be looking for throughout camp. The guys that can, in those really tough competitive situations, the guys that stand up.
Have you ever been around a guy that maybe didn't have a great competitive spirit, but then developed it over the course? And how does that happen? Are you born with it, or can it be learned?
It happens. It happens with experience, and it happens with tough coaching. And that's what our guys, they're going to get experience every day, throughout these training camp practices, because they'll be put in different super competitive, super tough situations, and they're going to be forced to stand up. But then, on us as a staff, being able to make sure we push those guys the right way every day, where they understand what the standard is. So I've seen guys develop it, and, that's going to come down to me a lot. So I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to that challenge, especially with our young players.
The veterans, as you brought it, I know we talked about it earlier, but that mentality that they have to teach some of these young guys, there's a lot of youth in that room, just what are they able to kind of trickle down that you're also trying to push them into?
Just how to handle ourselves, I think, more from a mental standpoint. When it's the physical and we all out there, these guys, they have the competitive stuff in them that you talked about, to say, I want my reps to look better than his reps when I'm going from. But where we want to be the very best of ourselves is when we're in the meeting room. The note taking, being able to retain information, being able to talk, to speak the language. Those are the areas that our veteran players, when they've been at this level a long time, they understand a little bit better than our younger guys. So just getting them to come along when it comes to that, or even simple things as a walkthrough. When I'm a walkthrough and I'm not up for the rep, me being able to, clear out all the distractions and be locked into all the coaching points that are being made, and the guy that playing my position out there, me being able to coach him when he come off the field. So there's all those little things like that it's going to set guys apart, and our vets do a really good job of showing our young guys the right way.